Hi, this is Vinaya, and this is my psychedelic story. I am, for the last 50 years, on the journey around planet Earth. And in my youth, I was trying to be a good German, which didn't work out. So I started off overland to India, started working inside, and now I'm just here to help people create and have a better life. Better is the wrong word, more like a fantastic life with celebration and no worries and no fear. I was about, not so sure, 17, 18, when somebody in a youth center just said to me, "Hey, I have some acid. Do you want?" We're like, "Yeah, sure." So no clue what this is about. And I just jumped into it because it felt kind of like, yeah, okay. And what happened was basically showing me that we don't experience, see everything which is around us. I suddenly had a different vision. And so, from my heart, knowing before that there must be more, this experience with LSD gave me the insight and the security. Yes, there is more to life than meets the eye or our six senses. And it really brought me into the space of like, I need to search more. And when I started off to India, being a hippie, I was in the 70s, I did try mushrooms and later on ecstasy and all these available, well, they were called drugs, but I would say medicines because they gave me insights into myself. Years later, like about 20 years ago, I came across ayahuasca. And there was an interesting experience. I was in Hawaii, and my partner then said, "Hey, do you want to try this?" So we actually brewed our own. And for me, it was like an amazing, intense experience where I actually said, no, I'm never going to do that again. That was too much. Years later, I went to Peru and came across ayahuasca again. And my partner did a women's workshop with a maestra, with a ayahuasquera in northern Peru, came back and was glowing and said, okay, in like 1 week, there's another ceremony happening here in the Sacred Valley of Peru. And I said, okay, I'm going to do that again. Having had then many, many experiences where it was in a safe container, not just in the party or even just going out and being with oneself, which is an amazing experience too, which I did with mushrooms and other medicines. Having a safe set and setting and intentional journey with an understanding that I'm going to learn something about myself or that I clean myself from things which are not beneficial anymore. We did this like twice a year for about 10 years. And it really cleansed my body and I became more secure in myself. That was my general journey with psychedelics. And then in the end, a few years ago, my partner started learning and training in facilitating Bufo, 5-MeO-DMT, which is called the God molecule. And it's not really a psychedelic, it's an ethmogenic. We don't really see things, but we become one. There's suddenly no this or that. It's just like oneness and presence. And that is amazing. And since my partner learned and did lots of trainings with that medicine. She's facilitating and I'm assisting, and we see changes in the people, which is amazing. Mind you, it's not just smoking one time and then going back home. It's a process where we have 2 weeks of preparation, 1 week in person, and then 4 weeks of integration. And that is one thing I would really love to share, is that, yeah, it's a nice experience just to go party with some medicine. And if you really want to experience yourself and be more in your power, I would highly suggest to really prepare, do the journeys, and then integrate, because that can really change one's life. When we are on a journey and take a medicine, there will be insights. There will be slightly changes in one's physical, mental, and spiritual way of looking things. And what happens with ayahuasca and Bufo and some other medicines is that the neuroplasticity in our brain is very adept to change. So when I have an experience and have an insight about myself, if I just go out and be myself again like I was before and just, oh, that was beautiful, but now I'm back in the normal life, and not really learning how to integrate, how to practically put this insight into my normal life, then the experience will be just an experience and it will go. But when we take use or make use of the neuroplasticity, it's like where the pathways in our brain can easily change and go into new directions. When with the help of a facilitator, we really, and that takes like 4 weeks, maybe sometimes longer, where one connects with the facilitator once or twice a week and then really looks at how did I now put this new experience into my practical life. Like, for example, learning that I really want to follow my heart. So we learn then in the integration that not to listen to the mind, but really listen to the heart, and then employ the mind to achieve what the heart tells me to do. And that can be through meditation or just a talk or awareness exercises. It really depends what I experience and where I'm at. So this integration period is really important in a sense of, I really want to be that different me and getting out of the stories which were running me before, and create a new life. I hope that makes sense. But like an example, we had a woman who was a videographer, and she did videos. And there was a slight fear that I'm not good enough and this and that. And also some resistance of really going into her joy, which is creating amazing videos. And after the journey with the integration, she's basically just now creating amazing videos, amazing documentaries, and has a wonderful life because it really fills her with joy. And that was achieved to really connecting again and again afterwards and helping her to put that new perspective or the new way of being into the everyday life. Or the real deep understanding about plant medicines and psychedelics is that there's 2 ways of taking them. One way is party, fun, just for an experience. And the other one is really, I want to really deeply see what my life is about, what is not beneficial anymore, and what I want to change in my life so that I really can celebrate and have no worries and no fear and just follow my path, then have preparation, have the experience, and have integration. And maybe the one of the most important things is because with me and my partner, we worked for the last 15 years with medicines. And there's quite a few people who died. And so the first, very most important part in my book is when the facilitator connects with you or you connect with the facilitator, the very first thing the facilitator, if he is really good, so to speak, is giving you a medical intake to see physically, emotionally, and all the aspects of your life physically. Like, what medicines do I take? What supplements do I take? Do I have some psychological episodes in the past, etc., etc.? When that is not happening, don't touch that person, because there's so many contraindications with ayahuasca or Bufo or MDMA, which really need to be looked at before I go on the journey. How do I combine these things, which is a no-no in my book? Yeah, say if you take ayahuasca and then you go a week later and take some Bufo, you have a good chance that you have the serotonin overload and die. So one needs to be really aware of it, and the facilitator needs to be aware of harm reduction and seeing if it's really safe for that person to take that medicine. Combo is part of that. And yeah, so really be aware if that facilitator is actually not one of these persons which we see like a lot, especially here in places where there's a lot of medicine journeys. A person takes one time ayahuasca and then goes, oh, the medicine told me I have to surf. Many people are doing like this, and do not touch these people. Really inquire and see if that person is really educated and has experience in that medicine there, which are they facilitating. So there is a warning, be careful. These medicines are not for everyone, okay? But if you feel called, or you have a feeling that you would like to try that, really do due diligence. And then go into the journey with full awareness, intention, and love.